100 players who shook the clock. Shook the clock.
It's Cally, it's Cally, it's Cally.
When I say a little workhorse, he was small, but boy, can that boy play? You know, you don't play 850 games for Liverpool and not be a player, and Ian Callaghan was.
Thompson. Oh, Charlton again, a goal, still Callaghan. Oh, corner again.
I think when you've played 850 odd games or whatever it was Cally played for Liverpool, you've got to be very, very high up in the rankings of Liverpool's best players.
I only still love him.
What would Liverpool be in the 1960s and the 70s without Ian Callaghan? It's hard to visualise.
Everyone back in defence now. Hunt, go on Callaghan, he's done it. Great goal by Callaghan.
He holds the record for the most number of appearances in the Liverpool shirt, and he was just, he must have been a dream to play with, because his energy and the fact that he never stopped and he never gave up.
MacDonald did, but still Newcastle in possession. There was a tigerish bit of play there by Ian Callaghan, determined to retain possession.
Rarely injured, booked once, I believe, under very, very suspicious circumstances. I think he was booked as much just so that they could say he'd actually got booked, I suspect. I haven't actually spoken to him about it. Now, he can remember it very vividly. I mean, basically, he wasn't really ever booked.
He can score goals, very few, but he made quite a few of them, I can assure you that.
Callaghan punching it hard across the goal, comes to Hunt, can he get his shot in? And is it too high for Callaghan? No. Hunt, it's a goal! Here's number 7, Callaghan. Hunt, the goal. Great, here's Callaghan. Now finding Hunt.
And indeed then finding Callaghan. Going past Boyce. A beautiful little chip. Hunt! And a goal!
It's out to Callaghan. Hitting it too far. It's a goal!
When I was a kid, Ian Callaghan, you know, he was just everywhere. All I remember, he was like a bee on the pitch. He was up and down, up and down.
Stevenson, Callaghan calling for it and getting it. St John. Well done, Bremner.
I can honestly say I don't think Cally had a particularly bad game in his entire career here. He was just so consistent, whether he played on the right-hand side of midfield as an old-fashioned right winger in the early days with Shanks, or when he went into the centre of midfield.
And he must have been an absolute nightmare to play against, because, you know, players with they might go past him once and then he'd be there again. That's the type of player he was. And I always remember thinking as a kid, you know, I want to be like Ian Callaghan, you know. And at school, that's what I wanted to be like.
I think he's one of the reasons why so many people fell in love with this club in a way. You got characters like Ian who, year in, year out there, they were just doing their job brilliantly.
He was a terrific footballer, great vision, but for me it was that sheer consistency. Come what may, you knew you'd get a great performance from Cally.
Just a man of great dignity as well. Never heard him boasting about anything, never heard him arrogance. You know, he didn't understand the word arrogance, you know.
Never clamoured for the limelight, but has justifiably been acclaimed by everybody as one of our greatest servants.
He started with Shankly, and I think he even got a European Cup winners' medal in '77. So he was at the club for 17, 18 years. You know, what dedication and what service, and you know, be a multi-millionaire if he was in the present day setup, because he would be in demand, you know.
Such an influential player. You can't overrate Ian Callaghan.
Once again, maybe an unsung hero in terms of, you know, everyone had, like, you know, tons of respect for Ian Callaghan, but you know, there wasn't many songs about him, and you know, there was just that one, it's Cally, it's Cally, it's Cally, which isn't, you know, wasn't one of the most famous ones, you know, but people, maybe there's too many syllables in his name.